I never thought something as ordinary as the flu would turn my entire life upside down. That afternoon, I left work early, drained and feverish, eager to just get home and rest. But what I found when I walked through my front door was something no amount of rest could fix. There was a truck parked in front of our house, one I didn't recognize. Strange sounds echoed faintly from the direction of the bedroom. My stomach twisted, and it wasn't just from being sick. I moved slowly, each step heavier than the last. The door to our room was slightly open, and through that narrow crack, I saw what no husband ever wants to see. My wife, Beth, was in bed with another man. That moment will never leave me. It was like the world tilted, crashing everything I believed in. My marriage didn't just break that day, it completely disintegrated. But as painful as it was, it also marked the beginning of something new. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to ask something of you. If you're someone who values real stories and hard-learned lessons, consider subscribing to my channel. I share these moments not for sympathy, but so others might find clarity, strength, or even a warning. And if what I've shared hits home or stirs something in you, leave a comment and let's talk. Now back to that day. It was a Thursday. I hadn't been feeling well, and by lunchtime, my manager insisted I head home to rest. On the drive back, I imagined Beth greeting me with concern, maybe preparing some soup or sitting by me while I rested. Instead, when I pulled up, I noticed the unfamiliar truck and felt an uneasy knot in my chest. Still, I brushed it off and went inside. The house was too quiet. I called out her name, no answer. As I walked further in, faint sounds, intimate, unmistakable, grew louder. My body went cold. I didn't want to believe what I was hearing, but I had to know. I reached the bedroom door, peeked through, and what I saw froze me. There was Beth wrapped up in another man. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was real. I stood there, heart pounding, breathing ragged, unable to move. I was watching the woman I had shared my life with for over 2 decades betray me in the most brutal way. Her voice echoed in the room, loud, raw, passionate, but not for me. I took out my phone and snapped a few pictures. I don't even know why, maybe to remind myself that it wasn't a nightmare, maybe as proof in case she tried to deny it. I whispered to myself, "You'll never forget this." Then, without saying a word, I turned and left. In the garage, rage overwhelmed me. I spotted a screwdriver on the workbench and, without thinking, slashed the tires on the stranger's truck. A petty move, perhaps, but in that moment, it felt like all I had. I got into my car and drove, tears blurring my vision, the road stretching out endlessly ahead. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stay. Hours passed before I finally stopped. I picked up some medicine and found a cheap motel far from home. I couldn't face Beth, not that night. Alone in that room, the weight of what happened settled in. My body ached from the flu, but my heart felt the real damage. Beth called me over and over. I didn't answer once. What was there to say? No apology could change what she did. The next morning, I called my office and told them I'd be out for a while. I needed space to breathe, to think, to figure out where to go from here. One thing was certain. Life would never return to what it was before. Walking away from Beth wasn't just about ending a marriage. It was about reclaiming myself from the wreckage she left behind. Ask ChatGPT. That day, I contacted an attorney, withdrew my savings, and began the quiet process of separating every piece of my life from Beth. This wasn't just the end of a marriage, it was the beginning of reclaiming who I was. When I got home, she was in the kitchen, eyes red and face pale. "Peter, please," she said, her voice trembling. "We need to talk. Just hear me out." I looked at her, my voice cold and steady. "There's nothing left to talk about, Beth. It's done. I saw everything, saw you in his arms. After that, there's no going back." Her eyes flooded with tears. "But I love you. He didn't mean anything. It was a mistake." "A mistake?" I repeated, fury rising. "The second you let another man into our bedroom, you threw away everything we had. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. And now I'm making mine." She reached out with shaking hands. "Please, Peter. We can fix this. I didn't mean for it to go that far. I just wanted to feel alive again. But I still love you, I need you." I gently pulled away from her grasp, looking at the woman I had once built my entire world around. I don't need you, Beth. Not anymore. One day, I'll find someone who would never throw away what we had for a cheap thrill. Her panic intensified. You're leaving? You're actually packing? Can't we just talk? I'm begging you. I'm sorry. My voice stayed firm, calm. You chose him. Now I'm choosing to leave. There's nothing left to fix. She crumpled to the floor, crying uncontrollably. It was just sex, Peter. It didn't mean anything. You're the one I want. But her words rang empty. I stood silently, watching her fall apart. You call that love? You broke everything we had. You didn't just cheat. You destroyed us. She collapsed on the bed, sobbing into the mattress, while I stood there feeling only a dull mix of pity and disgust. The love I once felt had vanished, replaced by a hollow silence. In the days that followed, I started over. I checked into a small motel, filed the divorce paperwork, and quit my job. For the first time in years, I had no obligations, no commitments, no ties. I was free. And with that freedom came an unexpected twist. Through mutual friends, I met a woman named Maureen McDermott. Her hair was a fierce red, and her eyes carried stories of heartbreak, of survival, of strength. Like me, she had been betrayed. But in that shared pain, we found something deeper. Understanding, connection, and peace. Spending time with her brought back pieces of myself I thought I had lost. Day by day, I let go of the past. I let go of Beth. And I opened my heart to the idea that maybe love was still possible. Meeting Maureen wasn't a coincidence. It felt like the universe giving me a second chance. I came to understand that Beth's betrayal wasn't my ending. It was the push I needed to start living again. Strangely, I felt grateful. Her infidelity had shattered my world, yes. But it also gave me the clarity to leave behind a life that had grown cold and hollow. Now, standing high above the world with Maureen at my side, looking out at everything ahead of us, I realized something important. Sometimes the worst moments lead us exactly where we're meant to go. In the aftermath of heartbreak, in the ruins of what once was, life gave me something new, something better. A fresh beginning. A love I could trust. A freedom I never knew I needed. And it all started with a broken heart that led me back to myself.